Young generation, old guardians, I mean the old
Open
guardians.
the meeting with the pledge of the flag, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Folks, be here tonight. To begin with, recognition of guests. Does anyone want to address council tonight? Let's do, okay. Can I have a motion to accept the council minutes of May 7th? Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to pay the bills?
So moved. Second.
Any additions to anything, David? No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? UPA bills are there for your information. Can I have a motion to accept the fiscal officer's monthly financial reports?
Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Have no old business on the agenda? Anybody has any? I'll keep it going. New business. Believe it or not, the trash contract is up at the end of the year, completing a 3-year contract. We'd like to sit down with them and see what they have in mind for a 3-year contract. There's nothing pressing immediate on it, but we'd like to get it moving along in case we would need to bid it. I would say, I would hope we don't have to bid it. We can get a decent offer from them for the next contract to avoid bidding because of all the issues that are changing. But I asked Julie here, she would sit in with me when we meet with them to talk it over, come back with something to recommend to you based on conversations we have on the contract. In the next couple of months, probably, sit down with them, see what they'll want some time to work something out. Any questions on that one?
Do we have something in our mind on what we think could be a reasonable, I mean, bottom line is it's not gonna go down.
No.
We paid $50.01, I think that's the 3 months. 10% would be $55. So I don't know what they have. I don't know what's happened in the trash world in terms of their costs to.
I guess where I'm going with this is there, do we have a percentage, do we have an increase in our mind that would trigger us to warrant going out and competitively rebidding this again? Because that's a process.
I think let's wait and see what they got.
Do we know what the county is charging commercial dumpers to dump?
I don't think there's been a tipping increase for a little while.
It stayed flat for a while. That's actually being discussed now going forward. So I think that one will.
But we have no control over that.
Right.
No, but if
That's
their
just a
tipping,
pass-through cost.
I know, but if their tipping fee goes up.
When was the last time your contract came up? When this
3
is
years
renewed?
ago.
Oh, from 3 years ago? I don't think there's been a change in the last 3 years. I can verify that, but
They may want to do something graduated. I have no idea.
Well, don't we have one, a fuel as well as a tipping fee built in already?
I don't remember if that stayed in that, this last contract or not. It was in the prior one.
was it a surcharge? Is that what it was?
Last one, and then the
Oh, okay.
previous one to that, just so I can see.
So, yeah, let's see what's.
The last one.
And specifications.
Okay, well, let's see what they have to say.
It's just see what they have to say. They've done pretty decent job. There's sometimes things come up, but on the whole, went pretty well. Item 2, shred day is June 24th, what, 9 till noon? Is that what?
June 22nd.
June 22nd, 9 till noon?
Is there a limit?
It's a 5-bag limit.
Property insurance,
Thank you. I will just cut to the chase right away and then I'll build back to what it was, which is we have about a 5% increase in our program this year. Went from $33,050 to $34,683. In that, though, our property values increased 4%, and that represents about a third of our costs. We put in a new vehicle, and we replaced a 2015 with a 2024, so we had some additional auto comprehensive and collision coverage. And we also added the 44 acres to our liability for the new conservatory land. So we definitely had some increases to cover. And so Wickard has, I feel, presented us with a very fair renewal, modest increase based on our increases. So I'm recommending that we continue our coverage with Wickard. I will just remind everybody, we have property coverage and general liability for here, as well as our autos, crime for theft, inland marine for the equipment that Dave and his crew uses. This also covers our public officials liability, the law enforcement liability for our officers. We have an umbrella to cover over all of our general liability and auto, as well as we have cyber coverage, as well as additional crime coverage for all the monies we take in. So we continue to be very adequately covered. All of our coverages are with a A-rated carrier, and I'm pleased that Wickard came and sat down with us. Janny Geis presented this to us.
questions for motion to approve it?
Second.
More questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Resolution 2024-8 is the 2024 Labor Day parking day agreement with the insurance company, and motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to adopt?
So moved.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Did have in my hand, ordinance 2024-4. I don't see it.
It was, I just received that today.
I see.
Yeah, yeah.
Ordinance 2024-4, an ordinance entering into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Development Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Program. This is about the sewer lining. And this is a second grant that gets us $21,160 to go with $120,960, which we already have. And the two together would give us $142,120, and our match to the cost of $167,851 would be $25,730. So that's a really low match. So can I have a motion to approve ordinance 2024-4, the second grant for the $21,160? Suspend the rules first.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions?
This is just approving that we're gonna take the money.
We're just approving it to get the money.
21,000 plus.
Extra $21,160. Our pocket on that overriding deal was 25,731.
Yeah, not done for.
167. Didn't I vote? Have a motion second?
You got that right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Gotta help. Gotta help. Got that one. I'm gonna add an item here. We sent out the encroachment, letters and the letters of, we received the 44 acres on 514 to all the adjoining residents. So it's been about a month. Kind of like to cut Dave loose to send up the drones, see what we're dealing with. People have had about a month to clear things out. And, what's your thoughts? Okay with that?
Part of the letter was that we were going to do this. So I think the sooner we do it, because we have to have an initial base to start with, so I think do it while it's still fresh in people's minds and that, and then, then we can start our program, but we gotta know what we're dealing with.
You want to post anywhere the date? In case.
I guess what I'd like to do is have Dave start to put it together, and then once we put a plan together, then we can, then we'll have a date.
But we're gonna use the information that the Land Conservatory originally gave us, right? I mean, there is a baseline already.
Yes.
Okay,
But I was thinking he would put it together and fly them before the next council meeting. Okay?
Can you do it by then?
If we can get the engineer to, bring the drone out.
If you can't, but
I mean, there are other people, I'm sure, that do that type of work, but they did speak to that issue.
Right.
but we at least get started.
Sure.
yeah, I just don't wanna be waiting on a council meeting unless, there's a reason to.
And isn't the plan that you'll have an overlay of where it is relative to property lines and things like that? So we'll know if there's anybody we need to follow up with specifically?
Yes.
Okay, so I think you definitely want to make sure you've got the mechanics to be able to do that. So it's not just a big aerial picture.
And I also mentioned to Dave that, for any encroachment shown on the drones flying, that, he would make a, individual check.
Yeah.
Before we sent letters.
Yeah, sure.
Just to be sure that what we saw in the sky was what we know was in front of us.
Did the Conservancy do an actual aerial or did they just do a walkthrough? Okay, I couldn't remember if they just walked.
Yeah, we got that around somewhere. All right, that's all the old and new business I have. Does anybody else have any old or new business?
When do you want me to talk about fireworks?
Why don't you do it? Yeah, let's, I'll put that out.
So, last night I went to the fire district meeting. And the township trustees were talking more about the fire levy. All indications, and you guys chime in, this looks like they're gonna be going for a 2.5 mil levy. They have not done all the final paperwork or done the resolution or anything, but that's what they're looking at. Kent was not at the meeting, and Kent is the chair of the fire. Right. So I don't think they want to do anything until he's back. But that's what they're indicating, and it would be a 5-year renewable levy. Terry Grimm is heading up the campaign for the fire levy. And she asked if she could come to an upcoming council meeting, July, August, I'm not sure when. But she would like to talk about, their campaign that they're gonna be putting together and so on and so forth. They're gonna start having some work sessions up at the firehouse so people can actually kind of see what's going on. And the big thing is equipment. I mean, that's the big thing. These guys have been doing a great job getting grant applications, reworking all the staffing schedules and so on and so forth to try to save as much money and manage expenses the best they can. But, fire trucks, EMS, chief's vehicle, first responder vehicles, those are all getting to the end of their useful life.
and we don't have a capital fund built up to start replacing this equipment. So the biggest thing for this levy is going to be to build that fund up. And Jeff, you were talking last night, million.
We're looking between 3 vehicles, which would be a new piece of fire apparatus, a new ambulance, and to replace my car. We're right around 1.3.
Yeah.
For those 3 vehicles.
Right.
Now, obviously, as time goes on, by next year, there'll be another increase, so. Just in general, across the board, they predict pretty much all fire apparatus to be over $1 million by next year.
Yeah.
No matter what you get.
So what I did is I asked Debbie to pull some, and these are all just estimates, so you guys can kind of see what's going on. But if you look, currently right now, the village is paying $149,000 for fire and EMS. The township's portion of that is $211,000 for a total of $360,138. The 2.5 mil levy village's portion would increase by 218,600, and the townships would go up to 309,000. So basically, you can see down there that the village is going to be paying 367,000 for fire and EMS, and the township's going to be paying 512. Now, if this levy does pass in November, it doesn't start drawing money until January. And to get $1 million built up in this reserve is going to take some time. And so, the price of that equipment is just going to go up. So it's going to, this is a long process, and this is just like step 1 of getting the levy passed. But, I hope by having the sessions up at the firehouse that they can get a message out to voters and stuff like that. How important it is, because this stuff all has a useful life. And the last thing you want to do is sending these guys out in not safe equipment or not proper. It's not properly maintained. But, at some point in time, this stuff, you're just putting good money at something that's not going to really be good. The other attachment here is, and if you see that increase, it's in the red, you can see what that does to our numbers.
I think Keelan has that.
Oh, I'm sorry. But one of the things we're going to need to talk about is, if that does pass, what does that look like for our financial situation?
Because we do not vote on that.
We do not vote on, our village residents do not vote on. This is, this is strictly township residents that are going to vote on it. But I think it's going to be, if we know folks that are in the township and stuff, we need to get behind this levy and help educate those folks on, why this is important. So, you guys want to add anything?
You pretty much covered it. it's.
So as things progress with the township, when they do actually do the resolution, and that they have to do it by August, I think, what is it, Aaron, first week of August?
Their deadline to get it on the ballot?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
90 days, so it's
Yeah.
right around that first week. Yeah.
So,
And just, I guess we'll add one thing, just levy does pass, we start collecting, I think you can take a loan out for fire apparatus ambulance up to 15 years. So there's different options that, we can do that. But even if the levy does pass and we sign a contract in December, we're looking at 3 years build time for a piece of apparatus. So squads are around 1.5 to 2 years, and fire apparatus is around 3-year build time.
What's the useful life on that?
I'm sorry?
What's the useful life on?
20 NFPA, which is the National Fire Protection Agency, who governs everything we do, basically. 20 years for frontline and 20 for frontline and 5 for reserve. So 25 years total, and we're already at 24 with one of our trucks, and we don't have reserve. We just consider it frontline, but by the time should the levy pass, the truck's gonna be pretty much 30 years old.
Okay, add one more thing on the discussion about the voting process. I know this came up last time, it'll probably come up again. The reason the village residents don't vote on that is because the village contract, it's an expense that the village has undertaken on their behalf. So I know there was some either frustration or confusion over that the last time it was on the ballot. And that's, that arrangement, it continues into the future with that.
There'll always be some
The
confusion.
fire
Yeah.
district is only funded by the township.
Our option is
With the exception of the building. That's where, that's what muddied the water.
Well, that, because the village, the building is a township building.
Right.
You mean from a resident standpoint though, right? Village residents aren't paying
To
to the district.
the fire district, but the
Property.
fire protect, the building on Virginia is owned by the township, and that's why the village got to vote on that.
But I just, that will probably need to be clarified at some point in the future too. It's always noteworthy, I think, when it comes up.
Well, the village would be looking at probably some increase in income tax to cover that. Plus, we've quit doing any kind of capital improvements here, and we'll add into it, get the whole thing. We really can't do anything until we see the fire costs. That's a big unknown. Okay. That's all I have on old and new business. Engineer is here tonight. That's. Police department, not here. Fire department is here.
All right, monthly activity report for May, we had a total of 50 runs. 3 to Guilford Township, 6 to Harrisville Township, which is Seville, Lodi. 1 to Lafayette Township, 1 to Seville Village, again, Seville. 31 were township calls and 8 were in the village. Of those, 38 calls were during our day shift from 8 AM to 8 PM, and 12 of them came in from 8 PM to 8 AM. We received mutual aid 5 times. And on the second page, there's only 10 there. That should actually be mutually given as 11 times. I noticed that just prior to the meeting, we're missing 1 on there, so I have to get that corrected. Just some department update items. We bill out, our billing company bill out $17,576 in EMS money. And I want to touch on this next one. It says MBA and fire. We've billed out $23,630.75 to date. Cost Recover handles our billing for that, and that is if we go to a motor vehicle accident with our fire engine, we can bill the insurance company for that. And the gal at our Cost Recovery said this is probably the highest I've ever seen Westfield to date. So I bill for everything. I believe if we can get some money back, we should absolutely get that money back. So I was happy to hear that. We had 14 resident transports, 17 non-resident, and 1 mutual aid non-resident. That mutual aid non-resident again is if Seville was on a call and we went because their squad was working, we don't hard bill them like we would that somebody's out of town. So we haven't missed any calls for service. There is some general, nothing too exciting on equipment purchases. But I want to touch on the last page, the grants. Unfortunately, we, since I've been here, we were denied our first grant from the State Fire Marshal's Equipment Grant. But we will, as soon as that opens up again, we will try to go after that grant again, and any grant that we can. So to date, we've taken in $46,646.94 of grant money. Actually, since I've been here, so since August. So I'm pretty happy with that. Like I said, we are doing our due diligence to go after all the money we can, so. And that's all I have unless the council has
Any
anything
questions
for me.
for Chief? Thank you.
Assistant Chief Young has one item.
I just have one thing. Last month, when I passed out the flyers for the golf outing when I was here, I did not pass out or give you any information about what we're raising money for. And I told you last month that I would be here this month to explain that. And I passed out this sheet, which is the skid unit for the UTV that was purchased with a donation from a foundation. And that skid unit will be able to handle fire type incidents and EMS type incidents that are off-road and inaccessible by conventional vehicles. Our fire apparatus are big, heavy, we can't get them very far off the road, if at all. So this would be able to get us back into fields and tree lines, things like that. But that's what we're raising the money for, and the cost on that's just about $10,000, just under $10,000. But I wanted to come back and follow up on that and give you the information that I told you that I would, so.
Thank you,
So
David.
that sits like in the bed of the UTV, is that, yeah?
And it's specifically made for that vehicle.
Very nifty.
Mr. Murray.
May Superintendent report. We processed 5.2 million gallons of wastewater. The monthly EPA reports, performed all the required and operational testing, all the routine equipment maintenance and press sludge. Here at Village Hall, we serviced the lighting system. The streets performed maintenance on all of our equipment, built all the village properties, set up for the parade, continued to do nuisance animal control, and had a new plow put on a new pickup. No activity at the cemetery. The parks continue prep ball fields and issued several zoning permits. One thing that was brought up after the parade, several residents commented that we could use a better sound system at the cemetery.
Second that.
So that may be something we may want to look into.
We actually discussed that before the event, that last year, I remember I meant to bring it up that the sound system's starting to fade.
Is that the same one that's used at the car show too?
We, at the car show, we used the
Oh, the
DJ.
But you'd probably use it at the tree lighting, right?
Yeah.
Well, we probably use it at the, this year,
Car
our
show
show
too.
too.
At
So
the
we use
tree
DJ
lighting, we
tree
use the
lighting.
same DJ that is used at the auto show. Because we use similar speakers.
So I don't know what,
Can you get speakers to plug into that unit we have, Dave? You know, the podium there?
I would assume we could.
Why don't you look into that? It can't be crazy expensive.
I wouldn't think so.
we need a good,
Yeah,
Good system.
okay? Sure. Okay. You got that going?
Is that a look into and report back or look into the purchase? It's just for clarity there.
Well, let us know how much it is, you know, it's a couple $100 to do it.
so I think it's gonna be a little more than a water box.
Anyhow, yeah. Bring it
I'll
back.
bring your price back.
Bring it back, yeah. Questions for Dave? Anybody? Okay, mayor's report, nothing in mayor's court. Communications, you have at your station a email from Vic Everett regarding the speeding in the Smucker development area. I guess I can suggest is we'll pass this on to the police chief. I don't think we'll put speed bumps up there. We could look into three-way stops, but I'm not sure three-way stops, are they exactly legal? I don't know.
I'm trying to think what you mean by three-way stops.
Well, They're going up Smucker
Oh,
and.
meaning because there's only two other intersections there.
Yes, yeah. Street
Instead of
to
the
T going
instead of
to
the
T,
four-way
right?
stop, got three-way. stop.
Right, yeah.
You don't see those very often. so
No.
I'm not sure about, I'd be interested to know. what we get.
Okay, well, I'll look at it because we were talking about the speed limit. I could take a look at both things. Yep.
Three-way stops. I'm not sure that'd stop anybody, but as Rick said, at least they could take them.
Yeah. Stop at a stop sign, you get a ticket.
So he sent that to us. Communications, let's see, I guess I'd ask, Val and, law director, Conservancy requested to have alcohol at their event. Answer was no, but, I'd like to know if that's been communicated with them or how we.
Sent an email off that included Jacob and someone by the name of Corey with available dates in August that they could actually hold the event, and then told them alcohol was not permitted.
Okay,
And I have not heard back anything
okay,
from
so
them.
they know that.
They know that,
Okay,
yes.
all right, okay. That's all I want to confirm on that, and that's all I have. Law director.
We talked about the traffic issues. I'm gonna be taking a look at those things. I think there's a couple other things that came up that I give an update to council in the last couple of weeks, so nothing else to report.
Okay, council comments and concerns, Mr. Bittner,
None this evening?
Al Konik.
Just wanted to share, received an email from Dave Weber, who was, Parade Marshal. And he said sincere thanks to council for this distinct honor today. It will be with me forever.
And motion to adjourn,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Statement is July 2.